What's up, everybody? I'm John Hoover, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Spring practice at Oklahoma is underway. Yes, it is. And yesterday, we discussed the upcoming spring practice, which actually started today, and a lot more with the head coach, Lincoln Riley. Tons of stuff, tons and tons of what I thought was really good, really informative stuff from Lincoln Riley. All that's coming right up. First, if you want more videos like this, please consider subscribing to this channel and or hit that notifications bell so you will be the first to know when a new video posts. Or as you know, just like the button, click the like button, or leave me a comment, and let's get a conversation started. You can always follow me on Twitter at John E. Hoover. Go like and follow my professional Facebook page at John E. Hoover Media. Okay, let's get it. Lincoln Riley told us who's going to be limited to start the spring, who's going to miss the spring entirely as they recover from injuries, and which players have switched positions. Fascinating stuff here, I thought. Nick Bonito, Marcus Major, Justin Broyles, and De'Laren Turner-Yell are going to be limited this week. Next week is spring break, so the team will be off next week. So when school starts back in a couple of weeks, sounds like Lincoln expects to get those guys closer to practicing, if not completely back in the fold. Trey Sermon, Jalen Redmond, Theo Howard, and John Michael Terry are going to miss the spring practice session altogether now. Sermon and Terry are still recovering from leg injuries they suffered last year. Theo Howard was hurt at UCLA and basically missed all of last season. Took a red shirt. And I may have missed this, but I'm not exactly sure we know exactly what Jalen Redmond's injury is. Remember, he had last year what Lincoln Riley called, quote, a medical issue, and he missed the Bedlam game last year, but he did start both the Big 12 championship game and the college football playoff game. Riley said last year, remember, his absence from the Bedlam game was not related to the blood clots that had sidelined him previously, so it's a little bit of a mystery, I think. Also, I really thought Theo Howard might be available this spring, healed up, so that's got to be disappointing for the young man after transferring in. This is such a key time, spring football practice, for players to learn the system, learn the terminology, and he can still do that, but just not in a practical setting like, practices or scrimmages. I'm sure he'll catch up just fine. Now, two guys who have switched positions this spring, Robert Barnes and Jamal Morris, are both moving to inside linebacker. That right there tells you how much they're really counting on missing Kenneth Murray and trying to replace him. So Jamal Morris redshirted last year, played in one game against South Dakota, never got back on the field. He came in as a true freshman, 6'2", 192 safety. Robert Barnes, as you'll recall, was the starter at strong safety a couple of years ago, but you remember, Orange Bowl, he got run over by Alabama's Josh Jacobs. He just really got his bell rung, and he never could get back on the field. I don't know that it was an injury situation per se, a concussion or whatever, lingering effects, or a confidence situation, or just the new defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, coming in and not being able to get him on the field. We don't know that for sure. Now, if it's a confidence issue, Barnes moving to linebacker is certainly curious. I mean, he got hit so hard, right? And he's trying to avoid contact, right? And I don't know that. I'm just speculating like everyone else, but you would think if that's the case, then moving to linebacker is not going to expose you to less contact. So I'm guessing that's probably not the case. Barnes has some ability now, there's no question. I thought he was a good safety for as early as he played in his career, so maybe he can find a home at linebacker. One thing is sure, guys, give the kid credit for sticking it out and agreeing to a position switch, not transferring, not running away. He's trying to get on the field, so give him credit. Now let's hear from Lincoln Riley on those two guys changing positions.
Two position changes that we're going to look at. Here to start, both Robert Barnes and Jamal Morris, we're going to work at linebacker here this spring. Two guys that when we recruited them, had the length, the potential to get that big, and we always knew in the back of our minds that this was going to be an option. Didn't know exactly how that would play out, but we've gone forward with that this entire spring, so we've put those guys on a plan to obviously add just a little bit more weight to their frames and be ready to go, and so that we can take a look at them at inside linebacker here this spring.
Lincoln expounded on the decision to move Robert Barnes to linebacker after he took a red shirt last year. Take a listen to this.
We had some conversations late last year. Once we'd all made the decision and to redshirt Robert, it was a conversation about just kind of his future, the way his body had evolved, and then also I think for him and all of us, getting to see, what speed D looks like and, where does he best fit in that. And I think that combined with, certainly losing Kenneth and some opportunities there at inside linebacker, it just made sense all the way around. So even at the end of the year last year, kind of through his training, we started to kind of slowly put a little bit of weight on him. And then as we decided to go full speed ahead with this, we've been a little bit more aggressive. And, he's responded well, done well. So, we're going to have some depth and talent in that room, though. I mean, without a doubt. Obviously having Caleb back full speed, Deshaun White back, Brian Asamoah has really had a tremendous offseason so far, and I think one of the more talented guys in that room. Brian Meade has been kind of a steady fixture in that room for several years now, and then Shane Witter's really come in and done a nice job. He's been very, very impressive for a young guy here so far. So it's going to be a very competitive room.
Redshirt year, was that kind of tailored for, did that end up happening because there was a position change that was going to happen, or was he held back because of health reasons or anything?
No, I think it was one of those situations where just kind of looked at where he was and opportunities for the future. I don't know that was necessarily that those two decisions were made at the same time. I think more is about kind of where he was as a player at that point, and thinking that year could be of benefit. And then as time went on, it just were conversations that we continually had and made sense all the way around.
So some really interesting stuff on the linebackers there. Now, this particular topic did not come up at the press conference, but news came out yesterday after Lincoln Riley spoke about the new assistant coaches, DeMarco Murray and Jamar Cain, and exactly what Oklahoma will be paying them. The Board of Regents is meeting today, and Cain is going to get $435,000. DeMarco Murray will get $350,000. The guys they replaced made $470,000 and $575,000. So just in terms of cost, OU's going to save $260,000 on assistant coaching salaries this year. Although you can expect that the rest of the staff will also get raises. That news might come out as early as today. That will probably eat up most of that $260,000. I did find it interesting that Shane Beamer is going to take on an expanded role in charge of OU's special teams unit, but he will not have an additional title. Here's what Lincoln Riley said about that.
Coach Beamer is going to take a larger role. We're not going to have a titled special teams coordinator. We think our guys' titles and kind of where we're at there are appropriate. So we're not going to have a person that has special teams coordinator listed next to their name, but if we did, he would be the guy. And then still going to be a combination of our other coaches being involved with the other teams. There are specific responsibilities, but honestly, from a schematic standpoint, I don't really want to say who's going to do what, because it does provide some advantages for us early in the season.
I followed up with Lincoln about DeMarco Murray and Jamar Cain and the learning curve that those guys are going to have as they go into their first spring. They don't know who these players are. They don't know what they're capable of. I thought Lincoln's answer was really interesting.
Yeah, Lincoln, the spring practice is such a big time for teaching the players. But with you hiring two new coaches, I'm curious, when you bring somebody in and they have to learn your system, right, your philosophies, they have to learn their players and all this stuff. How much teaching goes on with those guys? And what's your level of expectation for what they're going to be able to do this spring?
Yeah, definitely. That's that's one of the main reasons that you want to get these guys in soon. These two guys that we just hired are both very smart guys. Those guys coming into these staff rooms and picking up what we're doing hasn't been a problem at all. Didn't anticipate that it would be. I do think it helps that they're walking into rooms that are experienced around them. Guys that have been in their respective offensive and defensive system now for multiple years, and on top of that, they're both very sharp guys. I think the bigger or the more important component is learning the players and being able to spend time with those guys to start to develop the relationship and trust that you need to coach these guys at a high level. And so we do some things behind the scenes to try to help those guys catch up and to be around our players maybe even more than we normally are to start to build those relationships. And both DeMarco and Jamar have done a great job of that so far. But certainly one of the exciting things of spring, just like, excited to see new players and new team and all that. You're excited to see the new coaches and how they get out and work. And, certainly have, I think, made a great impression on our guys and just our whole program here in a short time already.
To follow that up, you said things you do behind the scenes to help them catch up. Is there anything you can shed light on?
Yeah, I think we just try to create as many opportunities for those guys to get around our players as possible. And then I think you got to create opportunities for the rest of the team, maybe not exactly in their position group, to get to know these guys and get to see with their personalities and get a feel for what they're like. Because each guy, we don't just tell our staff, all right, Jamar, you're responsible for the DNs and outside linebackers and whatever your special teams role is, and then everybody else, don't worry about them. You want each guy to have an impact, and all of our coaches are guys that you want them to have an impact on all of our guys. You want one of them to be able to grab an offensive lineman, or for DeMarco to be able to grab a DB and just talk to these guys. And maybe it has nothing to do about football, but for that, I think the team has got to be able to get to know them, and that's one of my jobs is continuing to create opportunities for that to happen.
One thing that Lincoln did say early in the press conference was about, obviously his quarterbacks and how he's really happy with how both Tanner Mordecai and Spencer Rattler have progressed. And he feels that both of those guys, not either of them, but both of them are capable of quarterbacking this team. Eventually, now he did get a follow-up to that. Did any quarterback express interest in transferring to OU this year? And did he take their calls?
We got some calls. We got a couple. But no, zero temptation there. We were very honest with everybody that was not going to happen.
And here's what Lincoln said about the spring game and the very special event where OU is going to unveil Baker Mayfield's Heisman statue. Only this year they're going to do it a little bit different.
These last few spring games have been tremendous, just with the way our fans have responded, the way our administration's responded. We've done, obviously, a lot of new things, making the game more of a true game format, added all kinds of entertainment. We had the night game last year, which obviously getting ready to have another great 5 o'clock kickoff. So it's really become a tremendous event for fans, recruits, our team, everybody, and that's something, that's a tradition that we want to continue and even further. To highlight the festivities of this weekend, and there'll be plenty more going on around the game that we're going to announce here in the near future. But we are going to unveil Baker Mayfield's Heisman statue, and in a little bit of a new thought process, or a new approach to that, is we're actually going to unveil it in the stadium, and that will be a part of the game. So we'll release some more details, talk more specifics about how that's going to happen. But I think the thought is, instead of a ceremony outside the stadium, why not include all 50, 60, 70,000, whatever is there, why not include all of them in that moment? So going to be a pretty cool historic moment for this program, and just add to all the great things we're going to have going on around our spring game. So excited about practice, and certainly looking forward to April the 18th at 5 o'clock.
Pretty cool. Now remember, Pro Day is obviously tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm going to be there covering it, as always, and I'll be back here on Thursday with video from the workouts as well as interviews from the players, so, we can discuss. Also, if you've stuck with me this long, I've got some big, big, big news coming in the next few days. You're going to want to hear that, so check back when you can. I will tell you all about it. That's it for today. Remember, if you like this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, or share it in your social media channels. Tag me and I'll share it. Also, please go find me on Twitter at John E. Hoover and on Facebook at John E. Hoover Media. Thanks for watching. See you guys.